Synth sounds describe me, because like I feel like if I can describe myself in multiple forms, then it's like I know I have a better grasp and concept of who I am, because I'm able to transfer it in so many different ways. But I'm just trying to find like A, have fun overall, because that's the biggest thing, and then B, it's just like what do I want to like put out and be consistent with, because like I can keep putting out all these different styles, but then it's like I want to find one and then grow into the next one, because like we all seen what we can do. Now let's like, as a journey, let's all experience and grow through that. So like that's where I'm at. You see people DIY everything. I feel like I'm more obsessed with like a DIY scene than I am just kind of seeing what's being put out with the big budgets. Just because like you can literally just put up a camera and your home, you know, your own camera or like a phone, record yourself doing something, and if you can like at least like do it to your own taste, like if people are gonna like it, like because like when you just keep putting stuff out, it's like you attract kind of in an overall sense like two groups of people. Like people are like, hey, you suck, and they don't want to help out, and then you have people like, hey, you kind of suck, I want to help you, and like
I see something there.
That's a huge difference than like people just like saying stuff, and people are always gonna say stuff. That's the whole point. Like whatever you do is gonna be either tasteful or distasteful to people, but the whole point is like do what makes you happy and keeps going. Like for me, like a lot of my music is self-reflective, so like the more I can like kind of like therapeutically like to like help myself, like I can like not without having it be like I am blah blah and like I know I'm like a lot of people are gonna feel the same way I do. Like I'm never alone, I'm just lonely in a sense. Like I just feel lonely, but I'm never alone.
Can you recall one of your first songs that you made?
I was saved up to get my first. I got like a Triton Korg piano with all original 500 sounds. I used GarageBand on my phone. So I had the Korg only, my iPhone, and an acoustic guitar. So what I would do then was like I would record the drum sets and the piano pieces for my phone, and then record the guitar pieces over that. Like no BPM. Like I try to match as perfectly as possible. And I came up with a song called Kool-Aids. And it's really good. Like the sample is really good. It just sounds really DIY and like cheesy, but it's like really good.
That's
for, like,
the grit of it.
Like it's so gritty and you enjoy it. The next part's when I finally got all, you know, my softwares and everything in check, that I made this song called Waterfront on the Peaceful Woods EP. And the Peaceful Woods was like a concept album I came up with just living life, and it to me was like, wow, like I can't believe I did that, like just by living life. And like, because all the songs were made under an hour. I already knew what I wanted, and at that point I didn't know about music, so I'm like, let's throw all these sounds that I like, and it was perfectly well put. The mixing and leveling is crap, but like that I can literally take that idea, redo it today, and people are gonna like think it's brand new. Yeah, so that's the beauty of it.
Did you have a friend group that encouraged you from the beginning, or was it kind of like self-motivation?
It was self-motivation at first.
Okay.
And like that to me, I'm fine with.
Did you ever long for musicians and creators all the time?
All the time, just because it's like, you know how cool it is just to like, you're just, instead of like you hang out with someone, it's like, hey, what can we do to do stuff, like, oh, like I like to draw, you like to do music, I know, and like people just genuinely like, here, what can you do to this, what can you do to that, and it's like it starts creating itself. Like that to me is what I'm longing for, because that's addicting, because like I just can't stop. Like there's two ways to go about it. A, just hammer it out and figure out what you want to work with and who you don't work with, but be okay if, you know, there's a fallout though. Like my way I want to do is like, I want to give it time. Like I want to just like keep doing keep working on myself to the point that I can communicate myself very thoroughly, and then be able to just help translate what I'm trying to do with other people. Like, this is the craziest part. There's a way to do what you want to do in a smart way. So it's like, and it's kind of hard to explain, because I don't think a lot of people want to pick up on it, but I've studied what I study in my life, so it all applies to the same basics of psychology, literature, history, and obviously like what you do, like self-reflecting. So what I learned from all of that's like, the message has to be forefront in there, and you got to be able to describe that. It's not like, oh, it's good, no, like kind of don't just say it's good, like how is it good? It's like, oh, bet, because like I'm tackling these topics, I'm doing it in this way, in a sense that it translates to the, you know, the people who don't know about this stuff. So it's like the passing of knowledge is there, but you kind of, and it's also the tougher part is like being not cheesy about it. I think that's the biggest part, because it's like I can be like, be positive, like do your life, like don't do drugs, like, and no one's gonna listen. Like maybe some people will, but it's like maybe they're like, I'm like, I understand what to the demographic who I speak to, and I want to do it in an authentic way, obviously, and like where the realm that I kind of do my music in.
And being authentic is,
nothing is new under the sun, and it's just like that's where the beauty and everything like obviously lies. And it's just like bands will never kind of go out of fashion. Like music styles can change, but the band live performances will never go out of fashion. And in a sense, like on like with Infinity, is like, why are you trying to fight upstream? Obviously, it's like with I mean, I don't know, maybe this plug might be too much, but like because of the Internet by Childish Gambino, that dude basically rewrote the Bible, but for modern times. And it's like, if you go back and like listen on Dissect on like how he breaks down the songs and the thought process Bino had, I'm like, this is basically the Bible. And I feel like you can easily do that with your songs. You can easily, like, take the literature and stuff that you're seeing, but then how does that translate to your little like world that your perspective?
Yes. So there's an ultimate balance to that. You take the ideas that are here, you put your own self through it. You are unique, even though our DNA is literally 99% the same.
And about to be coconut water.
And a little bit of coconut.
We're about to change it to coconut water. Yeah.
I'm about to drink some right now.
Go for it, dog. That's why I brought it.
Leading up to today, I was looking at your page and I saw that you were involved with community murals.
We have to understand that we are planting seeds for the future. We may never see these seeds grow. We have to be okay with that. So I had a whole uphill battle with the mayor and like the government on that side, because like they're like, no, we don't want this to bring us here, because a lot of Goshen people, and especially in the downtown, like, we don't want this here. We know what this brings. Quote unquote.
Did they give you reason? Or
if they let us do it, then they have to let opposing groups do it.
Okay.
And
that's a little understandable.
No, it's definitely like one of those, like, if I let this kid do it, you do it, another person has to do it.
I mean, is it time to let that expression out?
That's what art's there for. And that's like, I feel, for me personally, it's like, if I never talked to the city like that, everyone would have we just would have done it and never thought of anything. We would have dealt with, like, for me, I knew I was going to get defaced. Like, if you put anything that makes people mad and it gets defaced, I think that's addition to your art project in a sense. Because, like, you didn't put it there, but someone else did out of hate. But, like, that's an emotion that now's a story there. And no one, and it's going to withstand time. So it's like, yeah, I understood it. And they told me, like, hey, if we can't do it here, we'll give you billboards. We'll give you, like, side of county roads to plant stuff.
I really respect that they gave you an avenue.
In a sense,
where were they limiting you though?
Just the Main Street, because they paid millions of dollars to get that street.
It looks good.
Yeah, it does. But I'm like, it's a street though. Like,
it's time. I think we should segue this right into two things. So health and inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's because, like, this is obviously like the project for, like, I think Project Earth that every person is on in some way, shape, or form. It's like it's a long term. It's never a short term. And so it's like murals, like, that's gonna start conversations then lead to different, like, I mean, I would say, like, different ideologies, but then, like, we can have conversations now. We don't have to agree.
Right, it would open up those conversations.
And then, like, we get people exposed I would say in a better sense than would be just like finding it out in a harsher sense. And so and like that, trust me when I say Goshen's on a lot of different chapters, because, like, I was getting mentored by 3 different groups at the time doing the mural talk, and that tore me apart, because I try to be a people pleaser, and each group wanted a different solution and wanted it done differently and wouldn't agree. And so instead of me having a group meeting with all of them, I would individually go and relay the same things and relay the wrong things sometimes. And it's like, that ended up with, like, detrimental health issues for me. And I was like, forget this. Like, that was the fall of Troy, dog.
Yeah, it's amazing what a group can accomplish when they're all together face to face.
And I feel like harboring spaces like that are super necessary, because like, that's the reason why I kind of got started in music. And people are definitely looking for stuff to do. Like, the more you can, what is it? The more, in sense, like, everyone's always looking, like, for what can you give? But I mean, like, if it's something genuine that you can do, then it works out perfect. Like, like gardening lessons, or like, just come here and talk and get your artistic, or like displaying, like, traveling just to, like, to high schools and stuff. Like, look, we're just gonna show you, like, you can do this. Like, showing up is half of it. Take every opportunity and option, then you can start looking at what you want to start being more involved in, especially if it's like a new territory area that you never, like, in Chicago, there's a lot of open mics that aren't for hip hop. So, like, I noticed that, and I was just like, well, I showed up anyway, because I was like, I don't care if you like this genre or not, and I know I do it differently. So it's like, if you think that's not route you don't want to go, well, we have the internet.
Yeah.
Do your own videos, pretend to do your own open mics, you know, like do the stuff, like you just put stuff out there because then like you need keep doing it if you don't understand it, and then you'll look back and be able to look back at it a lot easier. Like, okay, but
Just do it. That can be you, you know?
you think it's information that you think is basic and everyone should know, then it's probably most likely a lot of people don't understand it. So like put that out there too, because like I get on like YouTube or like even TikTok, and like a lot of my stuff is just educational, like I'm producing, and it's like everyone's going through compressors differently, everyone's going through equalization differently, and like not all of it's right, but then also it's like you get a better understanding of what works for you. And so it's like it's like I'm like, oh, I don't want to put a compressor video out because people already put that out there. It's like, no, put it out there because like you have a different stream of like people watching.
This is new. This is you. This is your attempt.
A good medium is also like transferable to different platforms. It's like, and it's just like, it's simple as like, you made it with your intention and your emotions and your stories, but you don't tell anybody anything. Pass it to the next meeting, like, hey, paint whatever this makes you feel like. And they're gonna paint it and take it way differently than what you ever thought of it could be. Practice with what you have to begin with. And that's like a lesson my mom taught me. Because like, then you're not relying on anybody. In the long run, then you can communicate with, you know, you've learned more than you would have just tried like people doing it all for you. Do it, you know, have fun and do it yourself, find your way of doing it, and like make it, and like the whole, and like on top of like they're making it easier for you within a group or accumulated of 1,000. There's 2 or 3 or 4 gems there, like, and you got to be okay with that. That's one thing, you got to be okay with that. Go make yourself have fun and look for that feeling that makes you go like, wow, this is amazing. And who gives a crap if it's a 1-4-1-4 combo? Yeah,
because music really is in all of us.
One day I saw like a jazz guitar player for a middle school band, and saw that like you can play guitar, and I was playing trombone at the time. I'm like, bro,
I played trombone too.
Dude, shout out, dude. I met another person, but I was like, I want to play guitar. So I went over there and I just taught myself. Like I was so passionate. I never knew anything. I'm in competition with myself. I made a series of acapellas that I took acapellas and I remixed them because I'm like, I'm going to produce for my favorite artist today. They don't know about it, but I did it. And I wanted it to make sure that I rock with it. I'm like, dude, this is so better than the original version, or at least somewhat par. And so I've never been able to touch that level of production recently again, but I want to reach it and blow past it. I'm making stuff in different areas, but I'm like, I want to kind of tap into that energy again, and I want to outdo myself. As much as I put off, or I try to stay away from music, I gravitated back to it. And it's just like, it's like, for me, it's self-healing, it's self-exploration, and I get to outdo myself every day.
Do you think music is seriously something we need to appeal to the public as one of the strongest forces ever?
Yes.
And like to harness it even more? Yeah,
I say it's spiritual. And it's like, it's weird to say that because and overall though, in my translation from spiritual, it's energy.
Someone needs to match that with
and it's like, what you feed your brain is what really, and it's like, it's gonna really channel to the other areas, like, so it's like, listen to the music that's attracting you and dissect yourself, and then see what that's about, because there's definitely like a lot deeper meaning to that. And there's all types of music. It's like a drug. There's all types of this drug that can make you feel sad to happy and in between, and it's just like, go find what makes you move, because it's definitely out there. Like there's ska punk.
Yeah.
Like there's no genres anymore at this point in music. So like it makes you feel a certain way. Like the first fact, like, and it's very sacred because I don't just share my music out there. Like I like, this is my favorite song, or like that, because like if I share my music to someone else, like it's very sacred to me, because I don't just listen to party music. I listen to self-reflective music, and like, dude, I love Bon Iver. Like that dude is one of my main influences, just because like that dude broke a lot of different realms.
Yeah. What music would you make? What type of like sound would you like create if you hadn't been fed, all
of this influence? You have a kid making hip hop that never really knew about hip hop, and it was just a bunch of like trance basses. Like I took a lot of EDM world stuff and made it hip hop, but like ambient hip hop. Like I would make for sure like those 440 hertz healing hip hop. Like I would make for sure. I'd make that type of stuff, because I
kind of like breaks down the barriers.
I even caught myself making it like recently, and I'm like, oh, this sounds like old Abe, which is kind of it warms my heart, because it's like my little kid beside of myself, like, it's like, hey, I'm still here, don't forget about me. It's like, I won't, dog, I got you. It's like the chorus is like, she told me not to worry, knowing it's all okay. Like I love music that's just like, my music is to calm like the people's soul of like those who feel like they've like messed up, or like the failures, because like that's like my whole story looking back is like, I have all this potential and amount of like anybody else, like to do stuff, but like trying to please my, obviously my mom all the time, which is like, that wasn't a healthy thing. So it's like, I had a conversation with her. This is kind of wrapping things up in this part.
Sure.
I talked with her, And I'm like, I do my music because my mom's like, dude, do it for yourself. Cause like
Your mom had to say it.
she didn't say it like that, but like that's how she said it. Cause like where she came from Brazil, where she lived, like our house now, that's like Beverly Hills to her. So like I'm like, okay, why am I trying to put my ideology to help her when I was like, bro, like she's like she gave birth to me. Here's like, do what you want,
what you can.
make your own version of this, because like she's already achieved her greatness, and so it's like that
she made it here with you.
So I need to find my own purpose and why I do it, and not just you never do it for someone else. Do it because it makes sense for you.
Yeah. So what's the major differential between young Abe, this Abe, and where you see Abe?
Recklessness in a good sense. I just kept putting it out. I would just make a song, I would love it so much and put it out. Make a song, love it so much, put it out. Like I never, like I wouldn't hype it up. I was like, hey guys, this is, it's just like a friend showing you their artwork and they're really passionate about it. Recently down the road, then it's just like people came on, and then it's just like wait, and I'm like, takes the fun out of it. When you like, you need to wait. It's like, no, like keep putting it out, like because you're gonna make only better stuff down the road. Like why are you gonna worry about making this sound like the ultimate song when it's not the ultimate song? There's no ultimate song. There's no end game in this. So it's like, I will say my chorus is rock though. I feel like my strength is for sure chorus.
Right on. Yeah. Do you think that comes from pop?
Easily. I would definitely, I'd be a liar if I say I'm not influenced by pop in some shape or form. I definitely would say I'm more like alt pop or anti-pop, but like any concept that's new that breaks a lot of barriers, it's hard to describe to people, the average human being. So if you can, I'm saying dumb down, but if I can't teach what I learned to someone else, then I really don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and leading by example.
The world is, but I have this saying that I want to put on a shirt. It's called like, the world is your oyster, but the internet is your playground. You're not limited only to reality now. Like the younger generations, like they have now VR stuff. Like how cool would it be to have like a VR virtual listening party? Like, or just have like, they'll have like a game lined up. People will now have the opportunity to do that now. It's like, I'm just trying to find that real quick now.
Through VR and AR, and then eventually XR.
And AI. Like who's to say that some of the top hits aren't AI right now? Like it's really theoretical, like ooh, conspiracy, but like who's to say that's not happening now?
Yeah, it's almost like there's a form of it. Audio in itself, it's kind of like we are experimenting with like a virtual reality, and the visual is just what's coming second, almost. But
and like they're doing so many upgrades to like, what is it? I think you can play Fallout now on VR.
Yeah,
like
I have a game. It's called No Man's Sky.
Oh, I heard about that, dude. They come back on the updates, went hard.
Yes.
Dang, dude, I'm so jealous. Cause like you cannot emulate the struggle. You cannot.
Right. Things are happening so fast right now. It's like, oh, these things are actually gonna get better like real quick. So
I have a homie who literally like within 3 years, she like changed, not even 3 years, within like 2 years, she's changed her life. She had so many different jobs that all led up to where she's at now. And I'm like, I told her, like, you're living proof that a lot can change with just 1 year. Dude, what I do, I try to align myself, like my life up so I can like do my work, listen to podcasts with my friends. So I want to start supporting my homies. So I'm like, the best way I can do it is like, if they have any podcasts, and then I'll pop it in, work, and then like I can like message them like my favorite parts and just be connection that way. And then I can make music afterwards if I want, but then like after that, then I have like an hour set aside that I do work out. But I hop on a treadmill if I either walk or run, and I watch like an episode on Netflix. I can watch my TV. So you're
keeping your mind engaged.
Yes,
with a bunch
like,
of things.
Because like anything, the more things, it's like then I can go to bed and I have my consciousness is like, you did something. Don't ever say you didn't, because like I watched my TV and I worked out, and then between episodes before I start the next one, like I'll do my other auxiliaries and stuff, and then if I want to go, say if I want to game for 5 hours, then all I would do is like I'll watch and listen to podcasts again, but over like documentation on like music. So I'll listen to Dissect, and I have my notepad next to me, and I'll play like Borderlands 2 or Diablo, and I'll just like pause it, take notes, and like so that way the next day I have it refreshed in my brain.
Right.
It's like it's all optimized.
Coming to you from DAJ HQ. Send us out.
There are moments in life that transcend the everyday. Hotman Jewelers is here to make those moments sparkle.